your time, and good luck with your investigation.
Thank you, Greg.
You bet. We move now to Seattle, where 7 people are dead in what's described as the worst massacre in that city in over 20 years. It was around 7 a.m. yesterday morning when 28-year-old Kyle Huff Spray opened fire in a house party following an all-night rave. 6 young men and women were killed. One is critically injured. Huff then took his own life. Cesar Clemente was across the street when all of this happened. He called 911 when he heard the shots fired. He joined us now live in Seattle. Cesar, good to see you tonight. You were out yourself to about 4 in the morning recording some music with some friends, came back for a little bit of sleep, up at 6:30 in the morning, and you heard the shots. Take us through it. What happened?
I was getting up, normal day, hear the shots, and you know, it's just something that doesn't happen. So I picked up the phone, called up 911, heard a few screams, several people running out, and I don't know, I just saw 2 people that were shot, asked them guys to come over my way, direct them to the house. One actually came, the other one, I'm not sure what happened, he collapsed. And then as I was on the phone with police, the first officer arrived, several shots were shot around that time, and let's see, officer pulled his gun out, the guy took his own life.
I want to ask you, when you first came upon this, you opened your window, did you recognize what was happening? Was it clear to you that there was a person inside that house shooting innocent people, or was it too chaotic to make sense of that early on?
Well, not at first. I thought it was just, you know, a bunch of people playing around, shooting, maybe shooting in the air.
Cesar, let me ask you this. You were there, you were actually watching when the first officer arrived on the scene, and this man, Mr. Huff Spray, was there on the lawn walking around. What was his demeanor? What was he dressed like?
That I really couldn't tell. Dark clothing. I don't know, there was a bush in the way, but you can kind of see what was going on. When the first police, he addressed him with his gun drawn, and actually told him to drop his weapon. But before he could finish his phrase, the assailant just dropped himself.
And you actually saw that happen?
Yeah, well, from my angle, you can see his body drop. I couldn't really get into detail about it.
Now, the people who came to your house, did they know what happened? Were they able to give you any kind of information on what happened, and how seriously were they hurt?
Well, like I said, it was one person that made it to my doorstep, and I was asking him, you know, what's going on? He doesn't know. He said he can't think, he can't feel his arm, and you know, it was probably just too chaotic at the time, and you know, he was just bleeding, and I did the best I could, you know.
Well, Cesar, you did the right thing. You called 911, and you saw a lot of ugly things yesterday. We wish you luck in coping with what you took in, and take care of these next few days.
Oh, no, definitely. Thank you.
All right, Cesar, thanks a lot. Well, now let's go to Thomas Francis. He's a reporter with the alternative Seattle paper, The Stranger. Sir, good to see you tonight, or good to have you with us. Let me ask you this. I'm curious about the demeanor of this man in that house. He was invited to this party. He goes to the house party. Something happened inside that house, perhaps, to set him off. Do you know anything? Are your sources telling you anything about that?
It's unclear what happened in that house. What we've heard from the police is that actually there was not an argument between the shooter and his victims. In fact, it was a very mellow party. You know, people sort of you know, were just sort of relaxing around the couch. And he left without really, you know, giving any indication of what his intentions were. And he came back in about 10 minutes, and he opened fire on the 2 people who were standing on the porch. I believe they both perished. Then he went into the living room. They tried to keep him out. He busted through the door and opened fire on people in the living room. I believe at least 3 were killed there. He then went through the entire house. He had a sawed-off shotgun, a pistol grip, a 12-gauge shotgun, and clearly his intention was to kill every single person in that house.
Do we know if he had a relationship with these people before that night, before the rave party, or did he meet them there?
He met them at that rave party prior to this after party, and none of them knew him, at least none that I've been able to find, and that seems to be the case. Everybody was invited to attend this after party, and that's sort of how he came. They sort of trusted everybody to enough to invite them back, and
A little bit on Kyle. I'm sorry. Kyle Huff, 28 years old. We've spoken to his landlord. People have said that he is a nice guy, apparently respectful of authorities. Let me ask you this: he wrote a word outside that house on the sidewalk in spray paint. Did you see it?
Yes, it's eerie. He wrote the word "now," N-O-W, in orange spray paint. He apparently, when he left the party, he came back with these guns and this can of spray paint and sprayed it on the sidewalk and also the steps of a neighboring house. And that, at this point, is really the only real clue we have as to his motive. But it's very mysterious, it's enigmatic, and I think it's a sort of thing that's been haunting the neighborhood.
Certainly. Thomas Francis, you got a big story on your hands. Good luck covering it. Thank you for being with us tonight. Well, coming up...